Have you ever walked out of a meeting, a job interview, or even a tense conversation at a family dinner, completely paralyzed by the realization that you just let someone walk all over you? You didn't say what you meant. You smiled politely when you should have stood your ground. You backed down because you wanted to keep the peace. Most people have already lost their biggest battle before they even step outside their front door. It doesn't happen on Wall Street. It doesn't happen in a high-stakes corporate boardroom or during a brutal corporate restructuring. They lose the moment they look in the mirror, stare themselves straight in the eyes, and allow a single seed of self-doubt to take root. Let's be ruthlessly honest about human nature. Niccolò Machiavelli didn't write his legendary blueprints for the weak-willed or the hesitant. His philosophies were forged exclusively for the individual who has hammered out a resolution so deep within their core that the external world has no choice but to adjust itself around them. This isn't a motivational speech. This isn't cheap corporate confidence, and it sure as hell isn't blind, optimistic hope. Niccolò Machiavelli called it finality. When a true disciple of Machiavellian thought enters a room, they don't look around asking for permission, looking for a nod, or waiting for social approval. They walk in entirely aware of the outcome because they strategically engineered it in absolute silence before anyone else even showed up to the venue. The world doesn't submit to the person who shouts the loudest. It doesn't yield to the smartest person in the room. It bends exclusively to the individual whose mind is utterly, completely closed to the very possibility of their own defeat. That is decided power. And today, we make it your permanent operating system. Rule 1. The architecture of the unbreakable mind. Understand this fundamental Machiavellian reality. An unbreakable mind is never born. It is engineered. It is constructed piece by piece, brick by brick, in the absolute dark when nobody's watching, nobody's applauding, and nobody gives a damn about your struggle. The vast majority of Americans spend their entire lives waiting for the perfect economic climate, the perfect career opportunity, or the ideal, safe set of circumstances to finally become who they claim they want to be. They want a guarantee before they make a move. But while they wait, the individual who embodies Niccolò Machiavelli's philosophy is already 3 steps ahead on the chessboard. They operate from a mental fortress so heavily fortified that chaos doesn't disorient them, it fuels them. That is the definitive line between the average citizen and the truly formidable strategist. The average person reacts to life. The Machiavellian mind has already mapped out its precise response to every single scenario before the situation even materializes in reality. They wargame their life. They sit in the quiet of their room and ask the brutal questions most people run away from. What if my closest ally betrays me for a promotion? What if this venture completely collapses and leaves me broke? Instead of flinching or panicking, they construct a surgical blueprint for each scenario. Niccolò Machiavelli defined this as not virtue in a moral sense, but the raw, unadulterated capability to impose your personal will onto reality, no matter what fortune throws your way. Machiavelli famously noted that fortune is like a violent, unpredictable river. When it floods, it destroys everything in its path. But the wise strategist builds ironclad dams, deep channels, and embankments before the storm hits, not while they are frantically drowning in the middle of the flood. Your mind is that embankment. Your daily discipline is the stone. Your silence is the mortar keeping it together. Every time you choose short-term comfort over long-term execution, you remove a brick from your own wall. Every time you let a critic's opinion pivot your direction, you crack your foundation. If you are watching this, you are done being movable. You are done being easily read. You are done being the person things happen to, rather than the person who forces things to happen. Drop Fortress in the comments below if your mind is officially under construction. Rule 2. The silence that commands the room there is a weapon of absolute dominance that most people never learn to wield, because it demands a trait they utterly lack: absolute restraint. That weapon is silence. We aren't talking about the empty silence of a weak person who has nothing of value to say. Nor are we talking about the timid silence of a coward swallowing his words out of fear of confrontation. This is the calculated, icy silence of a strategist who has realized that speaking prematurely offers the other side free leverage. Niccolò Machiavelli understood a truth that historic rulers, elite modern executives, and high-level politicians know down to their bones. The person who commands their own tongue commands the room, and the person who commands the room dictates the entire outcome of the negotiation. Most people talk endlessly because they are profoundly uncomfortable with themselves. They drown rooms in noise to mask their own anxiety, beg for social validation, and constantly audit whether they are accepted by the group. They are terrified of an awkward silence. In a Machiavellian framework, every unforced word is a quiet confession. Every moment of oversharing on social media or at the water cooler is a massive crack in your armor. When you explain your motives without being asked, you hand people a precise map straight to your deepest vulnerabilities. A dangerous individual never hands out maps. They speak with clinical precision, and only when it directly advances their agenda. Let silence do the heavy lifting for you. Let other people grow desperate in the quiet. Watch them unravel, start sweating, and expose their entire hand just trying to fill the void. Niccolò Machiavelli famously wrote that a true leader must master being both the powerful lion and the strategic fox. The lion terrifies the wolves, but the fox identifies the hidden traps. Silence is the ultimate expression of the fox. It navigates without a sound. It observes meticulously without signaling that it's analyzing. It waits with absolute poise until the perfect moment to strike. When you master the art of being entirely unreadable, you become untouchable. People cannot manipulate what they cannot decipher. They cannot destabilize a foundation they do not understand. The second you stop performing for the applause of the crowd, the entire energy of the room shifts. People immediately realize you aren't available for petty games, workplace drama, or emotional theatrics. Drop unreadable in the comments if you are closing the door to manipulation. Rule 3. The art of strategic detachment in a society utterly ruled by emotional reactivity, clickbait, and instant outrage. The most devastating thing you can do to your adversaries is systematically remove their ability to trigger you. The objective isn't to kill your emotions. That's biologically impossible. The goal is to build an unbridgeable, heavily disciplined gulf between what you feel in the moment and how you choose to execute your plan. This is strategic detachment. Modern culture will tell you that detachment is cold, heartless, or antisocial. They want you to believe that if you aren't swept away by every emotional wave or social justice trend, you are somehow flawed. Why do they push this narrative so aggressively? Because an emotionally reactive individual is an easily managed individual. And manageable people spend their entire lives building other people's kingdoms while their own dreams rot. Niccolò Machiavelli was unapologetically direct on this front. He recognized that markets shift, fate turns, and human loyalty can completely invert in a single afternoon. Any leader who's too emotionally codependent on a specific outcome, too tied to a specific person, or entirely reliant on one single path is already compromised. When the landscape changes, as it always does in the fast-paced modern world, the emotionally attached person paralyzes under the terrifying weight of potential loss. They freeze, They cry. They fail. The detached strategist carries no such emotional baggage. They are fiercely, ruthlessly loyal to the final mission, never to the temporary method. They can pivot, adapt, or walk away from any deal, arrangement, or social circle that no longer aligns with their destination without throwing a tantrum, without an exhausting explanation, and without the performance of public grief. Think about your own life. Every single time you were exploited, scammed, or heartbroken, it was because someone targeted your emotional attachment. They knew a specific job, a specific relationship, or a specific status symbol meant the world to you. They pulled that exact wire, and you completely unraveled because you handed them the weapon yourself. A true Machiavellian never provides that leverage. They value assets without worshipping them. They build connections without depending on them to survive. You can put them across a table from an adversary throwing anger, deceit, or emotional bait, and absolutely nothing shifts inside them. Not because they are numb, but because they decided long ago that their mind belongs to them alone. No outsider holds the access code to their mental fortress. Drop detached in the comments to lock down your mental borders. Rule 4. Playing the inevitable long game. Weak individuals demand immediate payoffs. They crave the profit before the enterprise is even built, the applause before the execution is complete, and the crown before they've even stepped onto the battlefield. That desperate, anxious itch for instant gratification, for the quick buck, the viral video, or the fast promotion is the exact mechanism that keeps the masses ordinary and broke for their entire lives. The elite Machiavellian mind thinks in decades while the crowd calculates in days. They construct empires whose shade they might not even sit under for years, and they do it without a whisper of complaint, without a boastful press release, and without needing a single soul to witness the groundwork. Niccolò Machiavelli analyzed this with surgical sharpness across history. He watched populist leaders surge to the top and crash back into obscurity overnight. The pattern was completely identical every single time. Those who collapsed were the ones optimizing for the current moment, chasing temporary popularity. Those who endured were the Machiavellian strategists who had already visualized the final endgame and methodically worked backward with cold, immovable patience. Do not confuse patience with passivity. Passivity is sitting around on your couch hoping things get better. Patience is waiting while actively, aggressively reinforcing your position in the dark. The patient strategist is never stagnant. They are studying the competitive terrain, mapping human capital, reading psychological profiles, and locating structural vulnerabilities in their industry. They don't complain about the flaws of the system. They position themselves perfectly so that when the scales tilt, as they inevitably do, they are already standing precisely where the power accumulates. They don't need to be louder than their competitors. They don't need to flash their wealth or brag about their plans. They just need to be completely, utterly inevitable. While everyone else is playing checkers, the Machiavellian mind is playing high-stakes grandmaster chess, quietly removing opposition pieces before the opponent even realizes the game has begun. The inevitable conclusion this video you've just experienced wasn't just a window to look through. It was a mirror. It is a direct, unfiltered reflection of the unyielding, sovereign version of yourself that already exists beneath the societal noise, the programming, the self-doubt, and the years of being told to play small. Soften your edges and make yourself palatable for an average world to tolerate. The sovereign version of you does not compromise. That person does not soften. That person has already made a final, unalterable decision. And reality, whether it likes it or not, will bend to that execution. Niccolò Machiavelli never promised that a life of strategic power would be simple, comfortable, or effortless. He promised it would be real, a life executed entirely on your own terms, governed by your own internal laws, and built by your own hands in the very silence most people are terrified to sit in. That is the choice you are making right now at this very second. By executing this plan, by processing this internal shift, you know deep down there is no turning back. The bridge behind you has been burned. The world bows down to the individual who has resolved that losing is mathematically impossible. Because you aren't waiting around for permission, a lucky break, or a better version of yourself to magically show up. Let's bring this straight to your front door, right into your current reality. Think about the bills piling up, the coworker who subtly takes credit for your data at every meeting, or that nagging, exhausting feeling that you're constantly working 10 times harder than everyone else just to watch less qualified. Louder people get handed the keys to the kingdom. You are tired of being the person life just happens to. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote that the greatest tragedy isn't failing, it's settling for an average existence. Because you are too polite to claim what's yours. If you close this video right now and just slide back into your daily routine, you are choosing to let the world dictate your value. But if you are done playing the victim to circumstance, if you are ready to engineer your reality in absolute silence and build an unshakable mental fortress, you need to draw your line in the sand today. Do not just think it, commit to it publicly, so your brain registers the shift. Drop "I have decided" in the comments right now. Leave it as a calling card to the algorithm, to the world, and most importantly to yourself that the old, easily manipulated version of you is officially dead. Write it down, lock it in, and let's see who is truly built to conquer the long game. Stay observant, stay calculated, move in absolute silence,